Man, I still remember the first time I saw an SMG. The Halo 2 cover just came out, and in the flesh was Master Chief not rocking an assault rifle, but instead a submachine gun. Oh, but better yet, 2 submachine guns. Now, like Halo, we didn't have submachine guns in Destiny 1. They weren't included into the Destiny universe until Destiny 2, and by God, were they meta. Anio, Stochastic Variable, Atalanta D were absolute units inside of PvP. Most notably, the time to kill for most weapons were a second or higher. SMGs came right in underneath that. Made a lot of us use them. But now at this point, SMGs, well, they're just not in a good place. I mean, that's a lot of weapons, right? Like, we could just go through a Rolodex of archetypes that are just not in a good place. But SMGs, for real, are not in a good place, most notably due to 600 round per minute auto rifles. Everything an SMG could do, a 600 round per minute auto rifle can do with more forgiveness, more range, and essentially equivalent time to kill values. I mean, we're talking the difference at the highest end of SMGs being a 0.67 time to kill value versus a 0.7 time to kill value on auto rifles. And considering that auto rifles have a 30-meter range with no damage fall off, come on, fellas, it's obvious what most people would choose, which is why you now see combos like Mountaintop and Knowing Hunger versus what it used to be, Mountaintop and Recluse. Of course, Recluse got nerfed, but that's neither here nor there. Right now, I don't want to talk about what happened in Destiny 2. No, instead, I want to turn your minds back to a glorious time when holding just one SMG just wasn't enough. Fellas, I want to propose something to you that I think would be magical. Dual wielding. Huh? Now hear me out before you just start flipping your stuff. I'm not saying that dual wielding should replace obvious sandbox adjustments. Obviously, submachine guns are in a difficult position, and whether there needs to be adjustments to auto rifles or to SMGs or a combination of the both, at the end of the day, sandbox will be the say-all end-all on that fact, and there's nothing you or I can say about it. I'm simply trying to propose the idea of holding an anti-ope in one hand and a freaking Recluse in the other. If that doesn't make you want to harm Kara, I don't know what will. Now, it's a double-edged sword. Our output is obviously double. You're holding 2 weapons in your hand at the same time. How do we balance such a thing? What if you can only hip fire while dual wielding? And also, what if dual wielding doesn't have to stop at just submachine guns? What if we could do the same with sidearms? Okay, I know, I get it, getting a little crazy here, but obviously when aiming down sights, the accuracy of these weapons greatly increase, as well as effective range, especially weapons like anti-ope, where you have zoom as a factor for your scopes. You have to aim down sights to get extended range for that weapon. However, if you're dual wielding and only firing from the hip, truly and effectively, your SMG is only good sub 13 meters, which is in dangerous territory due to Mindbenders and Fellwinners and Astro Horizons and every other shotgun in the game. So it's not like you're just gonna suddenly wake up, put on your 2 SMGs, roll in like Master Chief, and start pawning noobs. It probably won't work that way, although Peacekeepers would be crazy with that loadout. All I know is that at least annually, time to kill values in this game have been dropping by about 0.15 on average. We're at the point now where there's just so many weapon types, and we're not even just talking about submachine guns. We're talking about scout rifles, certain pulse rifle archetypes, even hand cannons, but of course 110s are supposed to be getting a buff, so obviously that's getting looked at. The point I'm trying to make is we have entire archetypes that are just being left in the dust. The only reason why sidearms have remained in the game is most of the best sidearms that people use have a 0.6 second time to kill value. 0.6, still better than 0.7. Mathematically, the weapon is superior. Therefore, people still use sidearms. Submachine guns don't have that luxury. Outside of like Master of Arms on Recluse or Ravenous Beast on Teraba, most submachine guns sit between 0.7 and 0.8 time to kill values, with substantially less range in comparison to auto rifles. And even if you went out there right now and you nerfed auto rifles, say, hey, let's just go out there because kill 600s right here, right now, it still wouldn't increase SMG usage. It needs a kick, fellas. A bump. A level of lethality that I feel like only dual wielding can present. Huckleberry in one hand, Ikelos SMG in the other. Now, before my PvE players say, whoa, this could break PvE, this sounds crazy. Well, you're giving up a special weapon. You're still only utilizing 2 primary weapons. So technically speaking, yeah, you're doing more damage output with your primaries, but no special. And you have to hip fire only. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, guys. I just don't think it's a terrible trade-off. On top of that, did we just forget how to have fun? I'm just saying, dual wielding SMGs is a trademark of Bungie's. Why has it not become a thing? I guess the only awkward thing is like, I don't know, throwing a grenade? How are we gonna do that if you're dual wielding SMGs? Maybe you can just spit your grenade out. You headbutt your grenade out. Honestly, I think that would work for a Titan. Just go full Saint, headbutt an enemy, and poop a pulse grenade out while you're at it. No, but for real, that would be the only weird issue there. See, back in Halo, when you threw a grenade while dual wielding, it dropped the other weapon. So maybe it will stow your secondary SMG, and you'll have to like hit a button to re-engage dual wielding. Look, I get it. Sounds complicated, but considering that we are realizing that there is no Destiny 3, these type of evolutionary changes in our weapon systems need to happen here and now. Inside of Destiny 2, fellas, because this is it. We might get a Destiny 3, but it's like 3-4 years out, maybe even longer. At this point, all hands are on deck, and they're just working on D2. Look, dual wielding probably is not something that's going to be shipped anytime soon. I have no idea if it's even on Bungie's radar. All I know is I played with a number of god rolls this past week of SMGs, and all I could think about was that SMGs, despite these god rolls, need some sort of adjustment, especially in PvP. However, if we make them too strong, we might as well be playing COD, man. I'm just saying, running around with a single SMG, stroking people in 0.5 seconds. But what if 0.5 seconds was okay if it's dual wielding and only hip fire? Just a thought, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you're curious about the SMGs that you see here in front of you, one is the Ikelos SMG. Another one is actually one of my favorite called Bad Reputation. Super underappreciated SMG. Another one is Escape Velocity, a kinetic SMG. And we also played around with a pretty well-rolled 7th Seraph SMG. All these are really, really good, but even them being as god-rolled as they are, they met way too much resistance for me to truly make an individual review on any of these. I can't even suggest using an SMG outside of maybe the Ikelos SMG, because that's been the most recent one that's included a perk that boosts the zoom of the weapon, thus boosting the range of the weapon. I guess technically speaking, you could boost the range of the weapons entirely, giving them a base default zoom increase, or just releasing more weapons like Antioch, because that's like the biggest thing. Antioch, one of the best weapons in the game. The problem is no one can get a god roll of it. I can't tell you when the last time Antioch dropped for me. Fellas, does it even drop anymore? The gunsmith used to give them out. What happened? I don't think I've seen one in like a year. Regardless, those SMGs can still hang, of course, if you have the right roll, but also mainly due to the fact that you can get scopes on them that increase that zoom. But most, if not all SMGs this past year outside of Ikelos, and Ikelos is kind of unintentional because it's the mag perk that actually increases the zoom. Every other SMG has had barrel perks, which means Bungie is intentionally trying to keep the range cut down on SMGs, which is fine. If you want to keep them within that constrained 10 to 11 meter range, maxing out at 13, I'm actually okay with this if you make them lethal. So again, fellas, I ask, why not dual wielding? Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.